Hello, welcome to the Aprilia Performance Monday morning walk around. My God, they say. Yes, it is actually Monday morning. If you have a quick look at the clock, it's 11:15 on a Monday morning. We've actually done it. We've got it. We've actually got our stuff together. So thank you very much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. Thanks very much for letting us know that you're... we get loads of emails from people just sort of saying keep it up. Thanks very much. It is a bit of a weird thing to do because standing in front of a camera is not my normal cup of tea. So, but thanks very much for the great feedback. Right, we're going to do the walk round. We've got a couple of interesting bits and pieces. The technical stuff's on V4 gearboxes again because a lot of guys are talking about V4 gearboxes. So tune in, stay in touch, and what we'll do is we'll give you a bit of a look round and we'll have a look around a gearbox. Thanks very much. Talk to you in a minute. Morning walk around, we're going to show you what we've got in stock. If you have a look, for those of you who I know Shane mate, how you doing? Shane from New Zealand. How are you, Matt? Thanks very much for those emails you sent me the other day. Really appreciate it. I know winter's coming for you, so I don't even want to send you this weather because it's a bit rubbish out here as well. If you have a look, it's kind of raining. So anybody that's got a bit of sunshine, like I said, send us some sunshine. That would be great. Thanks very much. And like I said, you guys, Australia, New Zealand, are just starting to get your winter. I'm sorry, guys. We'll try and send you some sun over when we can. We'll kind of do an exchange when it goes as we go along. Right then, the walk around. What we're going to do is, if you have a quick look here, what got dropped off the other day. David, that's your engine, mate. That one's going in, not a problem. So we know what's going on with that one. No dramas there. Is our nitrous Tuono with the carbon wheels. It's going to be a nitrous Tuono. We haven't gotten the dirt on my bike. Shocking. This is the one that we were doing the testing on the other day. We've gone for, on this one, we've gone for a stock front sprocket, 44 rear 2 sprocket. We're trying to change over and trying to work out how the maps feel and how they work, just so we've got, I know Carrie had some great information, some great feedback a couple of days ago, just to see how they, the fuel injection feels as it's going along. We did some testing on that on Saturday. That was good, so keep on going on through here. Got Lou's bike, Richard's bike here, that's booked in for a service tomorrow. Apparently Richard came in the other day and says, my God, the last time I saw you was 6 years ago. It kind of came crashing down around my ear holes the other day that we've been doing this for over 6 years, which is very strange. I've never had a job for that long as it goes. Really strange. Dorsos, shivers. We've actually got some Dorsadoros in. They're kind of a rare beast in this workshop. We don't normally get Dorsos and things like that. So we've got some in as it goes. We've got that one in there for a service. It doesn't work at the moment at all. We've got Al just cruising in on the bike of Destiny as well. We've got Ian's bike's just come back from the dyno. That's given us some good results, but we know that needs a fuel pump in it. So we fixed the problem on that one. That was a fuel pump. Just a quick one while we're at it as well. Fuel pumps. We seem to be getting a few problems lately with fuel pumps. Stay in touch on that one. We're working on that one. Seems to be. The ethanol may well be that we're talking about that stretches the tanks, that makes the tanks not fit. We think it's actually starting to affect the fuel pumps as well. We're pulling apart the fuel pumps that are dodgy and sort of making sure that works. We'll be back in touch with you on that one and make sure you understand what's going on with that one. So we've got Nat's gearbox, that's coming out in a minute. We'll do a technical bit on that one. So we've got V4 technical on the gearbox. We've got our Tuono Racing. We've got a Dorso 1200, the big one, the Daddy 1200. There's Aaron's bike, Aaron Hoppy Hopkins. Aaron, see you later, mate. Okay, the SP, we're just waiting on an under tray for that. We're just going to make some, that's going to a bike show in a couple of days. Spoke to Simon on that one. Nice to see you again, mate, as it goes. That's our shop bike. Other than that, I think the status quo remains. So what we'll do, in the next part, is we'll give you a little bit of the technical section. We're going to talk about V4 gearboxes. I've just had a email from a chap called Chris, who's a new guy to V4s, wanted to know about gearboxes, cam chain, rattles, that kind of stuff. So we're going to give you a bit of a rundown on what we found so far on V4s and V4 cam chain, rattles, gearboxes, that kind of stuff. We'll show you around. So we'll be back shortly. Welcome back to the Aprilia Performance technical bit for Monday. I think it's the 15th of May. Right, what we're going to talk about today is I've spoken to had an email from a chap by the name of Simon today who wanted to understand a little bit more about the gearboxes and a little bit about the cam chain tensioners, especially sort of rattly ones on earlier bikes. Right, V4s. V4s, this affected V4 2.0s and V4 RSV4, sorry. And what you'll find is that sometimes you'll have like quite a mechanical sounding rattle, especially from tick over. So what happened was, originally, Aprilia actually supplied camshaft tensioners in the bikes. We think it was slightly too small. So what they did was supplied some very, very small washers, which actually increased the length of the actual camshaft tensioner and stopped it from running quite sort of strong. So the camshaft tensioner was running the length of its extension, so it was creating a bit of a rattle. If you have a quick look up here, you can see this is the camshaft tensioner blade here. Okay, the cam chain runs, this is for the rear cylinder, the cam chain tensioner runs around here and up around the cams around here. So the cam chain tensioner goes in there. It's not the easiest job in the world to actually change them. It's about 2 hours per cylinder. But what happens was, from about 2011, 2010, 2011 onwards, they revised the type of cam chain tensioner that came out, and that seemed to help. If you've had the revised cam chain tensioners fitted and you still get a little bit of rattle, then sometimes the earlier bikes, the 0910s, what can happen is that the actual oil, because they ran 1550 oil rather than the 540, which is in the later bikes, you can retrofit the 540 oil in the earlier bikes. Totally recommended by Aprilia, so not a problem. This can sometimes help the I don't know if you can see, but Al's working on the other side of this bike, which is why that bike just turned around by itself. But you can stop some of that rattle. I know one of the lads that we've got has, not Simon, he's actually done this and it's worked an absolute treat. So cam chain rattle, that's what was going on with that one. Gearboxes, again gearboxes, we have done a film on this. If you check on our YouTube channel, Aprilia Performance UK, check on the YouTube channel, you'll see inside there we've done a little bit of a strip down on a gearbox so you can see what's going on, not a problem. But we'll do another one today just so you can see what's going on and what we're checking for. Race bikes, what we tend to do, pull the gearbox before they start the season, pull the gearbox, check and inspect the gearbox just to make sure that that's okay. But if you have a quick look in here, you can see this is where the gearbox would go in here. So through there would be the output shaft to your sprocket to the drive chain. This would be your crankshaft, okay, which would run down to the actual gear and the back of the clutch, which would run through that way. So we've got, here's your oil pump here as well. Look, basically it's the oil pump which pumps it all around the engine. So we've got the gearbox on the bench over here. It takes about two hours to pull and inspect a gearbox to find out exactly what's going on, strip it down and make sure everything's cool. But basically this is the gearbox here sat in front of us. So we've got the output shaft, the clutch shaft here, this is the primary, secondary, okay, and just all over here are the actual stator forks which we have to pull out and inspect and make sure they're all okay. But it's called a cassette type gearbox, and just one little bit of information here you can sort of work out. Another cool little bit of information you've seen, which I can show you, how to work out which gear is which. Like I said, all this is on that other film, but it's not a problem. You can go and have a look at that in your own time. So, if you work on the premise that the output shaft is the same as the back wheel on your push bike, the largest gear is first, the smallest gear is 6 or 5, depending on how many gears you've got in your gearbox. So, we have got here, if we have a look, we have got first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. Okay, so first, second, third, or fourth, fifth, sixth. So that's how you work out what gear it is. So again, once more, the output shaft, which is the one that the sprocket's bolted to, think of it as the same as your back wheel on your push bike. The biggest gear is first, the smallest gear is 6. Okay, V4 gearboxes, they're great. Cam chain rattles, you can get around it, like I said, with a little bit of different oil maybe. Just give us a shout if you're not sure. Give us a call at the shop. Send us an email to service@apriliaperformance.co.uk, or you can give us a shout via sort of the Facebook page, not a problem. There's plenty of good guys on there that will be able to help you out. If you need to get in touch, give us a call, email. You can, like I said, get in touch any way you want to, not a problem. Thanks very much, take care, and we'll see you next week.